What's up, ladies and gentlemen? My name is Elo Bandit, and today I'm going to be playing some Gen 7 OU. This is a Trick Room Hyper Offense team built by the Smogon user I'm Bad But You're Worse. This is a sample team. I didn't build this because, frankly, I'm not the best OU builder. OU is not my standard tier that I normally play, but I had so much fun playing this team that I figured I just had to make a laddering video out of it. So, without any further ado, let's get into this. I've got my Uxie pulled against this Weavile, who I don't think can knock me out in one hit, so I'm actually going to go ahead and try and get my Trick Room up as soon as possible. This Uxie has two jobs, which is set up Stealth Rocks and set up Trick Room. The order matters only in that you want to get maximum Trick Room turns possible for your breakers, and you want to get both moves up because you always want to get Stealth Rocks up. This is the only setter on the team, and yeah, rocks are always nice, dealing with things like Sturdy, so you don't have to worry about that, dealing with multi-scale, and of course dealing damage to every Pokemon on the Switch. So yeah, Hyper Offense teams love rocks, they're always very important to get up. I'm going to go ahead and Memento against the Weavile instead of U-turning, because I don't see like a really impressive defogger on this team past Gliscor, and I just want to be able to bring in a Pokemon and either Swords Dance up in the case of Mawile or Tapu Bulu, or get a substitute up in the case of Marowak Alolan. I actually have the options of I can sub up now, or I can just drop a Flare Blitz immediately, which might be the better option considering knockoff. So I'm actually going to Flare Blitz as my opponent does opt to switch into Ursaring. That's going to go down, of course. Marowak basically gets as many kills as he has turns left of Trick Room, which is the largest appeal of the Trick Room Breaker team. Gliscor going to come in. I'm expecting Protect 100% here, so I'm going to take the opportunity to switch into my Cresselia. Knockoff going to land and get rid of my Mental Herb, which is mildly annoying, but that's not too bad as I do have Ice Beam to deal with the Gliscor, and I do have the Trick Room to set up again when I want to bring back my Breaker. I'm going to go ahead and Ice Beam because Gliscor is a threat. I'm going to go ahead and crit that, which is very nice since I don't think that actually KO'd without a crit, given that this is maximum HP, maximum defense with no real special attack investment. I'm actually going to Trick Room up. Oh, it's not going to work because he already knocked off my Mental Herb. I wasn't too afraid of knockoff because I did already lose my item. But now I can switch pretty freely into Magearna, who doesn't fear knockoff since I do have the Fairy Z. I'm not really afraid of anything he could bring in. I'm actually going to take the opportunity to set up Trick Room right away. Going to go for that here. I expect something along the lines of Earthquake, Curse, or Heavy Slam, so I'm thinking Tapu Bulu is the overall best pick, as it is going to be an Earthquake, which I'm going to eat right up. 4 turns left on Trick Room. Aggron is actually going to be moving first here. I'm going to scout out the Heavy Slam by switching to Marowak. He's going to switch off into his Drapion, and I now have 2 turns left on Trick Room to smack into his team with my Flare Blitz. So that works out pretty nicely in my favor. He can either switch out here and sack something else, or just straight up lose his Drapion. And he is going to opt to lose the Drapion. Crit did not matter, as I am 252 attack adamant with the thick club. And Rockhead is, of course, absurdly nice, meaning I don't have to worry about taking any recoil from the Flare Blitz. Going to deal 70% to Aggron past Filter. Aqua Tail is going to deal a little bit of a chunk back, but I do actually get some free healing from the grassy terrain. And oh, that was so stupid, I lost my Trick Room and I was too busy commentating to actually switch out. So that's pretty stupid on my end, but at this point I can at least bring in Tapu Bulu, click the superpower, claim a kill on Aggron, and move on with my life. Nope, not yet, not yet, as he's going to go ahead and set up his Stealth Rock. No reason to superpower again, so I'm going to deal some, oh my god, just one hit KO the Nidoking after my attack drop, thanks to my Meadow Plate and the raw power of Wood Hammer alongside Grassy Surge. So at this point I can bring in my Mawile to intimidate and shut down the Weavile completely, as it's going to Icicle Crash for a 24. Weavile is going to be taking damage from Life Orb. I can actually set up a Swords Dance if I want here pretty freely. No, I can't. It's got taunt. What am I saying? Gonna go ahead and just click knockoff for neutral, or for not very effective damage on Weavile, neutral damage on the Aggron, but he's gonna opt to stay in, lose his Weavile, and finally in comes Aggron at only 3% is going to die to the knockoff. So that, nope, he's gonna crit the Earthquake. I'm gonna go down and take him out with my Tapu Bulu the following turn. So that is gonna be a good game to Martin Ray's Mesa. Very well played at the end there. Almost turned that around on me. I'm going to go ahead and find another match since I'd like to do some more Trick Room destruction. Up against Jorge 500 XD. Gonna lead Yuxi as I always do, since Stealth Rocks are just that critical for this team. Rabombi, I'm expecting the classic Stun Spore, Sticky Web, Focus Sash, with, I think the attacks are Moonblast and Hidden Power Fire. I'm going to go ahead and Trick Room here as he defogs. Defogs mean that he doesn't have 2 attacks, which means I can bring in my Steel types that much easier. I'm actually going to Stealth Rocks up again because I think he has Focus Sash, and I want that to not be an issue. He's going to Sticky Web, but that's fine because then if he defogs again, that's just removing it. I gotta bring in my Marowak as he doesn't really threaten me with anything. He goes ahead and defogs, which is fine because that removes his hazard as well. Flare Blitz is gonna get the Rabombi out of there, and I still have my Yuxi in the back to set up Stealth Rocks again later. One more turn of Trick Room means that I can decimate anything that wants to come in, which is probably going to be Garchomp in this case, but I have 2 excellent switches to Garchomp in my Tapu Bulu and my Cresselia, so really not too worried about that. I'm in a pretty good position right now. Jorge taking his time figuring out what he wants to bring in, or what he wants to potentially lose. As it is going to be the Garchomp picked, I'm going to go directly into my Cresselia, which does have the Levitate and the Ice Beam to totally decimate things like Garchomp. I'm actually going to Trick Room first, because that's definitely faster, and that is my best all-around play, I think. Mega-Mawile going to come in, but I can switch off into my Marowak Alola without fear, as Calm Mind is not going to help him in the slightest. I now have my beautiful 3 turns to sweep. I'm going to click Flare Blitz, claim my kill, and Garchomp probably going to come back in, but that's not too big of a problem as I can go directly back into my Cresselia. I already have Trick Room active, meaning that even if he goes for the Swords Dance, I threaten him out heavily with Ice Beam. He can stay in or switch off. Either way, he's taking pretty massive damage, as Garchomp is going to take quite a number from Ice Beam. That is going to be a comfortable 2-hit KO. Garchomp, he gets 1 turn off of damage on my Cresselia, but that's fine. I really don't care. Fire Fang only going to do 24, is going to flinch, which is kind of nice for him, but that's fine. I don't really care that much. Trick Room gets to go up regardless, and Ice Beam is going to be enough to finish him off the following turn. Even if he wanted to switch off into something like Kartana, that's going to be taking huge damage from any special attack. But at this point, he has Pinsir in. I'm going to either bring in my Mega-Mawile, bring in my Mawile. I don't want to bring in Mawile because it's Hyper Cutter. Or I can Lunar Dance into Marowak Alola. And there's no real reason to give up Cresselia other than he only has 3 Pokemon left and they all die to the Marowak. And frankly, this thing is pretty threatening once Trick Room ends. So I don't want to give him that opportunity to potentially Swords Dance up, break through my Cresselia, and continue sweeping after Trick Room. It's just not the best play. So this way, I definitely take out the Pinsir, and I definitely take out 1 more threat, and I have 5 Pokemon to deal with whatever his last thing is. So yeah, he's just going to forfeit. I think I played that pretty well at the end, and he's going to recognize that he has no chance left. Go ahead and load up our next match up against Rimuru Tempest, and going to go Yuxi as always. He's going to lead off with the Skarmory. Skarmory is a pretty decent check to this since it probably has defog for my rocks, but it gets rocks up itself, so if it's defogging, that means it's getting rid of its own hazards, so I don't really care all that much. Spikes means he's probably not going to defog, which is fine for me because that means I'm happy with hazards being up on both sides. that is totally fine for me. He's got a red card into Marowak Alola, which is what I was going to anyway, so that works out really nicely. Flare Blitz is going to take the Skarmory out. Thanks U-Turn for getting rid of that Sturdy, and I now have 2 more turns to smack whatever comes in. This is not Intimidate Silence, which tells me it's Moxie, which means it dies to Shadow Bones straight up. Anything else that wants to come in is also going to die, because this looks like a very squishy team once Skarmory has been taken out. Gonna go ahead and start the timer on this boy, so he's that much more pressured into making picks. Tapu Koko gonna come in, but that is going to lose to the Flare Blitz as well. Oh, hold up. I shouldn't have done that. That was greedy. Now he brings in his Hawlucha and he has a chance to sweep. That was not the best I could have played that. What I should have done is substitute up, because Tapu Koko is likely to be the support set. I think the play is just Flare Blitz anyway, as he opts to just dance in my face without bothering to attack me. So that was kind of his one chance at bringing the game back, and he threw it away. And I'm perfectly fine with that. We can go ahead and find another one up against XG. Super cool name, my dude. And this team looks like it's going to absolutely get smacked as soon as I break the Rotom and Landorus. Rotom and Landorus can't switch into Marowak Alola more than once, provided that I hit them with the Shadow Bone in the case of Rotom, or the Flare Blitz in the case of Landorus. So, looking forward to getting Rocks Up against the Charizard. Rotom doesn't pose any threat at all to my Uxie. Gonna get Rocks Up immediately. I expect to see Volt Switch coming out. That's perfectly fine. He can bring in whatever he wants. As it is going to be the Magearna picked, I'm going to go ahead and Trick Room and then U-turn into my Marowak. As he Volt Switches again, you're not really gaining any momentum by doing this. And this is not even significant chip on the Uxie, so I really don't know what the plan is. I'm going to U-turn out before Rotom gets a chance to move. I'm going to go directly into not my Marowak. I'm going to go Tapu Bulu here because I can't risk getting hit by Hydro Pump. And no human being clicks Will-O-Wisp against Uxie. So I do have 3 turns of Trick Room where I can threaten something with Wood Hammer or Swords Dance. I think Wood Hammer is the play because this way I just decimate a Lando. I'm happy with that. 59 and its defensive Rocky Helmet as well. So I definitely 2-hit KO that thanks to the 2 turns remaining of Trick Room. If he wants to switch out and preserve the Landorus, that's the smarter play. If he wants to go into Charizard, that would be, I think, optimal on his end, but he's actually gonna go for Magearna. That's fine. I have 1 turn left on Trick Room, but I don't feel like throwing away my Tapu Bulu just yet. The smartest play would actually be to go back to Uxie, reset the Trick Room, and U-turn off, or even U-turn off back into the Marowak. So that's what I'm going to do now. Volt Switch is going to do just a little bit. This thing doesn't have enough offense to really threaten me. Lander is going to come in. I don't really care too much about that. I'm just going to U-turn off. Would he Earthquake? Expecting to see Marowak? Or would he U-turn? I went into Bulu last time. I don't think he's going to Earthquake. Knockoff is rough. That kind of sucks for me. That gets rid of my Thick Club and that actually halves my attack stat. So that was very well played on his end, as he's going to nicely switch in the Rotom Wash. I should have seen that coming in Shadow Bone. Yeah, I just didn't know what move it was going to go for. And Knockoff definitely was a rough play. So now I don't care so much about my Marowak, as it's going to be that much less effective at breaking things. Rotom going to Volt Switch, not going to KO me with the Hydro Pump, which is nice. That means I get 1 more turn off with this Marowak before I probably sack it and rely on my Bulu and Mawile to break things. I do want to get my Rocks Up if at all possible, but I'm gonna have to bring Yuxi in on a Trick Room to do so. My opponent's switching into Charizard, and I'm gonna go ahead and get a Shadow Bone off on this because I need to hit it. Yeah, 48%, get the defense drop. He roosts. That was the smartest play on his part. That was pretty nice. I could preserve this and bring it in again with the Lunar Dance, but after losing my Fit Club, I just don't think it's worth it. So I'm gonna let him kill me, and I'm going to bring in my next Trick Room setter, which is Cresselia. Get the Trick Room up. Yeah, this is kind of tough to deal with at this point. I'm going to have to use my priority and probably a Z-move too. Flamethrower is going to do 51. Yikes, that hurts. Maybe I sack the Yuxi? Or is it that important to get? I'm Ice Beaming. This seems stupid, but I'm Ice Beaming to get Chip on this. And that means I can bring in Yuxi, I can get my rocks up, and Charizard kills me, but I still have 2 turns of Trick Room left to use my Z-move with Mega followed by a Sucker Punch with Mawile. Okay, it works. So Landorus comes in, that's totally fine. I'm going to Memento this and bring in... No, I'm just going to switch off into Bulu, because this doesn't threaten Bulu at all. Knockoff is going to take my Meadow Plate. But I can Sword Stance. I could Sword Stance. Or I could just get health back with Horn Leech. That seems like the better overall play. 28 to Mega is pretty nice. And I don't think that this actually threatens me too much. I don't think this has Flash Cannon. So I'm just going to click Wood Hammer and see what damage I can do to it. Ice Beam is going to chunk me pretty hard. Wood Hammer doing 43. Not super duper optimal. I'm going to switch into my own Mega on the next Ice Beam and go ahead and get my Trick Room up. If he wants to switch out, that's totally fine. If he wants to, probably Volt Switch is what I would do here. But anything that comes in is going to be taking Rocks damage, and it's also going to take a Fleur Cannon. I'm going to save my Z-move to hit Charizard in a Trick Room. But I'm perfectly happy to get a little bit of a special attack drop, removing Landorus from play. In comes the Rotom Wash. It might be worth Z-moving here.
Let's go have some fun.
Just to take out 2, and then Flare Cannoning the Charizard. Because this does have to take Rocks, and this way I don't have any special attack drop at all. So I'm actually relatively happy with that play. Victini gonna come in and force me out. I actually have to sack something here, as Yuxi is the play. V-Create gonna drop Victini's defense enough that Sucker Punch is gonna KO it with my Mawile. Actually, I don't even have to worry about Sucker Punch. I can knock off because I have a turn of Trick Room left. So he's gonna go into Mega, that's gonna die. And now I can Sucker Punch the Charizard. No, it's going to be Victini back in. Gonna click Sucker Punch straight away, as I do expect V-Create to come through. So yeah, that's going to take out Victini. Very nice. Charizard. And, okay, so yeah, he's going to forfeit, and I will actually take that win. Cool. In that case, I'm going to find one more match, and I'm going to call it after, hopefully, one more win. As we're going to be up against Roberto. Gonna go Yuxi as always. Blacephalon is quite a threat to this team. I have to get Trick Room up right away, and oh my god, this thing is so scary. If it has Substitute, I'm going to be in a world of hurt. Normally I would get Rocks up immediately, but in this particular case, I'm just too afraid of Blacephalon. Not going to be a fire move, so I'm going into Mawile. I'm going to take a lot of damage here, but oh my god, it actually KO'd me. That really sucks. I gotta bring in Marowak, which is decent, I guess. Going straight for the Shadow Bone. Yeah, Blacephalon is definitely terrifying to deal with. but at least I do get the Trick Room up despite losing the Mawile. Oh, thank goodness he decided to stay in, and I am going to take that out immediately. So very happy with that. Tapu Koko is not a threat even if it has Focus Sash, since I do have the Bone Meringue. He's going to switch off into Cloyster, which is going to take neutral damage from that, but I still have a turn left on Trick Room to land a neutrally effective Flare Blitz and remove Cloyster from play. So I'm pretty happy with that. That's basically a 1-for-2 trade, and my opponent can bring in something to threaten away my Marowak. Keldor is not that Pokemon. I am happy to click Flare Blitz again. Earthquake is going to do a little bit, but you're about to lose a comp. Oh, not quite, but you're now burned, and this avoids all Earthquake damage. So I'm happy with that. I could either Ice Beam and kill him now, or I could set up a Trick Room, but there's no real reason to Trick Room if my opponent is slower than me. Gliscor is not the switch into Ice Beam, my dude. The Heligo gonna come in, but now I get a Trick Room up as he reveals Substitute and leaves. Okay then. I'm gonna Lunar Dance into my Bone Meringue Marowak and win the game if he reconnects. And he is back. And he forfeits. So yeah, that is the game. I just want to point out that I totally had a win here, even if he didn't forfeit, because I would have Lunar Dance, brought my Marowak back in with full HP. I had maximum turns of Trick Room to Bone Meringue, then Heligo, Flare Blitz, the Tapu Koko, and finish off the low HP Conkeldor. So I'm pretty happy with that as a last match. Thank you all so much for following this slattering session, and I hope you guys enjoyed, and hopefully I will see you guys all next time.